It's Francisco Perez. You don't know what it took for me to get here. I came over here. This is a Pahukini. I look at the name. Heiau. Whew, boy. So I didn't have battery, so you couldn't see the hike. Once I got here, I'm starting to record. So here we go. This is a Heiau. Okay. So it goes Pahukini Heiau Historic Site. The Kailua Ahupua'a Traditional Land Division. I keep trying to say that a lot of these odd temple looking hills out here is actually pyramids. But let's just get to it. Runs from the slopes of the Kola Mountains to the waters of Kailua Bay. I don't have that much battery, so I'm gonna go fast. In the center of this apua is a great expanse of fresh water known as Kawai. Around 200 years ago, Kailua was a residence of the Ali'i chiefs. They favored Kailua for its many fish ponds, the abundance of taro, kalo grown along the waterways, and the good canoe landings along Kailua Bay. Pahukini is one of the 3 heiau temple constructed along the edge of Kawai. These heiau were situated to provide a commanding view of the Hapua'a. Now you see, do you get it now? Pahukini heiau is one of 5 heiau in the Kailua and Kane Ohe. Kane is the creator, they say. Area said to be built by Oahu chief Olopana. Now Olopana is my direct ancestor's brother. So this is my uncle, Olopana. Our father, their father was Mualili in West Side. He was a high chief, and his son was Olopana, and my forefather Moikea. Probably in the 1300s or 1400s. They say probably, but the times is off. I'll do another video on that. We got to keep going. Its large size suggests a Luakini Heiau, where ceremonies included rituals for success in war. The name Pahukini may mean many drums and refer to the beating of the pahu drums that signal the God's presence at the heiau. Many workers were needed to build a large heiau, such as Pahukini. Construction was directed by the mo'i, ruler, and kahuna, priest. Rocks were carefully stacked because no mortar was used. Rocks were carried from miles away and passed over great distances. When the heiau was in use, a number of features would have been constructed within the walls, including anu'u, oracle towers, lele, platforms for placement of offerings, ki'i, carved wooden images, but I've shown you that carved wooden images wasn't used until after the 1200s when they were reintroduced, and that structures the housed the sacred objects. This heiau was kapu, or restricted, except to the ali'i, the chiefs, and kahuna, the priests. The Hawaiian religion was abolished in 1819 when the queen killed the king and made the deal with the Christians. In 1819, with the breaking of the kapu, at this time the carved images and thatched structures of the heiau were probably destroyed. Today, only the stone walls and remnants of the stone floors and ledges remain. This is the anu, the tower, lele, the altar, halepahu, a thatched building where the sacred drums were kept. Pahukini Heiau is large, rectangular enclosure measuring about 120 by 180 feet. The stacked rock walls once measured 6 feet in height. The smaller enclosure and entrance along the north wall are believed to be later additions. Stones from the paved floor are now piled into small mounds within the heiau. In the 20th century, Pahukini Heiau has been impacted by slope erosion, quarrying. See, this is a big quarry site because they like destroy everything. Because what happens is they use that rock in building. So to make concrete, they broke up that rock, and they go to our beaches and take all our sand, and then they make concrete. And this Canadian company makes all the money. Alright, let's continue. Quarrying for rock in the 1950s left the Heiau perched atop a 200-foot cliff. As a result, one side of the Heiau nearly collapsed. Landfill materials now shore up the Heiau foundation. Pahukini Heiau as it appeared in 1903. The landscape around all sides of the Heiau has been altered by earth-moving activities. So it didn't even look like this, looked way better, and then see looked like Pahukini one. Pahukini Heiau was placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1972. In 1987, community volunteers began to restoration effort. As vegetation was removed, the Heiau was again open to public view, and archaeologists were able to study the site. I want to study my sites. During much of the 20th century, Pahukini Heiau symbolized the neglect of Hawaii's historic past. But the change in the 1980s when the site was cleared and formally rededicated in 1988 in recognition. And I wouldn't even know about that. But yeah, thank you guys for getting the funds to do what you guys done already. Alright, so let's get it. I don't know how much battery I got, so I'm gonna run. Go to the front. Bees everywhere, so I gotta watch out. Red ants too. All right. So here we are. So here we are. It says Pahukini Heiau, said to have been built by the chief Olopana. So this was built by my direct ancestors, Olopana, my uncle. In 1100 AD, which makes more sense. Pahukini, many drums, and my grandpa was the one who brought the drum to create hula. So we're in the folk tales. Many Drums is one of the largest religious temples in the Windward area, placed on the National Register of Historic Places in 1972. So this was a room. See? Oh boy. So, as you can tell, just like in America, has the same type of rock wall building styles, enclosures. And if you look at these rocks, you see the rock, you see how it has the cut. This is cut to lock it in place. So many of these rocks have a locking type cuts in them, just like in Peru, Bolivia, all those places. Wow, they put a lot of straw in here to cover everything up, so you cannot dig. See what my great uncle had in here. You know what's funny? Tell you the truth, like I grew up thinking I wasn't shit. Like I knew there was something special. I knew there was, look at it, quarried the whole side. Not because like I felt, just like the things that I could do, you know. Ooh, red ants. The things that I could do, you know what I mean, my natural abilities. Just so much things, and I never really knew about my family, and then I started to be intrigued. I was back home from the mainland, and I was like, doing bad and had children. So then I started like to want to know who I was. And then one person, that's why you don't let people deter you. One person was like, oh, I told him, oh, they said, what's your name? And I said, oh, I don't know what it means. I know it's Moikeha. And then she was like, oh, I think I know what Moikeha means. And I was like, oh yeah, you do. Wow, I'd like to know. So she goes, Moikeha means slave. And I was like, oh, so thrown away. I was like, what does that mean? Does it mean like was captured and was slaves the people? What does that mean, slave? Oh, what if my last name means slave? Oh, I was perplexed. And then later on, I found out that in Hawaiian, Moikeha means great king. And then I learned the stories of the great king Moikeha and his line, which was close to the Hebrew line Papa and Vakea, which they say is Adam and Eve. So when I found out it was Moikeha, I learned so much, and I was like, there's a newfound like look on life. Like, don't let anybody deter you. Don't let anybody try to tell you things, because a lot of people just say things and they don't know too much about it. So always put in your work and figure out for yourself so you can make a judgment call, a good judgment call. So yeah, I found out that my name was, I had all this to it, and how he was the first king of Kauai, and how Kauai never was conquered. They always believed in the Creator. They never went to the other gods. They always stayed worshiping the Creator only. And they had like the smallest army, but they always won. They never was defeated. That's why when you look at Kamehameha's conquest, he had a battle with the Kauai people, and then he lost. So he made a treaty with them. So they never lost. They just signed a treaty so that to stop the fighting. And then eventually the king's son wanted to take back the island. He wanted full control. He didn't want to pay anything to King Kamehameha anymore. So I believe this was also after the first Kamehameha died, so there's a second Kamehameha. So the son of him, of the Kauai king, he rebelled and brought up